this lecture, we will discuss the masterpiece of just-in-time, Kanban. Kanban is a Japanese word that means signboard. A Kanban system is a pool management technique allowing visual production management through simple rules. In a Kanban system, the so-called Kanban cards are used to trigger production when stock is consumed. As a result of a Kanban system implementation, a supply chain, or a part of it, will be self-regulated when facing small exogenous sources of variability. The use of a Kanban card could be compared with the use of banknotes. A single note is used many times to buy different goods by different people. The same Kanban card can be used many times to trigger the production of the same product by the same work center. Let us now briefly describe the functioning of a Kanban system in a production setting well known by any one of us, a hamburger fast food restaurant. The typical fast food restaurant could be represented as a two-stages production system. The upstream stage, the kitchen, is in charge of producing the components. On turn, used by the downstream stage, the servers, to prepare menus for the clients. In terms of production system classification, then, the kitchen is a fabrication department, manufacturing parts, while the servers are an assembly department. Between the two departments, a storage area contains a small amount of stock. Let's use sloping shelves, which are forcing the downstream department to use the stock according to a first-in, first-out logic. When a customer enters into the fast food and orders a meal, the server assembles the final product using the right components, typically a hamburger, a drink, some fries. All the components should be readily available to keep the customer waiting for as little as possible. We could then classify the approach to demand fulfillment as follows. Parts are made to stock in the kitchen, and the final product, a meal, is assembled to order at the service station. Now, let's have a look at what triggers production in the upstream department. According to the pool nature of a Kanban approach, we know that replenishment of the decoupling inventory is triggered by downstream consumption. This means that the upstream station cannot produce any items unless a signal of consumption arrives from the client. When the server consumes a certain standard quantity of cheeseburgers, such as 3 cheeseburgers, corresponding to a batch, the card will be revealed. This card signals to the server that he has just consumed one lot of cheeseburgers. The server proceeds sending this card to the kitchen. That card is a request to the cook to produce one fresh batch of cheeseburgers. When the supplier work center manufactures a range of products, which is an extremely common situation, a problem arises. In case of a backlog of Kanban cards was piling up, how is the work center foreman to manage priorities and select the next lot to be processed? The answer is very simple indeed. Rather than processing Kanban cards in the order they arrive, a Kanban board has to be created, which allows visual management of priorities between different cards, representing different items. To give priorities to Kanbans of different products, the board is typically divided into 3 zones, which are color-coded to help and support visual management. The green zone, where the first cards arriving are being placed. Card in the green zone means there has been a consumption of this item going on at a downstream work center. Yet, they still have plenty of stock, and there is no need to produce more of this item right now. The white zone. Once the green area is full, additional cards are placed in the white area. Cards in the white area means there has been a consumption going on for some time at the downstream area. They still have some stock. Yet, should the work center be free from urgent orders, you might consider producing a minimum batch of this component. Processing more than 1 card of the same item at once would help reducing setup times and costs. The red area. Cards placed in this area means there has been a huge consumption of this item lately. Please start producing it as soon as possible, as the downstream station will soon run out of stock of this component. Please rush and do not mind setup times and costs. Let me wrap up with some concluding remarks. Kanban management is simpler than push MRP management. It does not require detailed forecasts or a plethora of information, such as bits of materials. The number of Kanban cards in the system inherently limits work in progress. Bullwhip effect is thus avoided. The exact amount of items consumed at the downstream stations is withdrawn, and the exact amount withdrawn is produced at the upstream station. The downstream consumption immediately, that is, without delay, triggers production upstream. Kaizen, continuous improvement, is implemented by progressively reducing the number of Kanbans. This requires the Kanban board to be updated accordingly. Less Kanban cards in the system means a smaller size of the green zone. This leads to gradually lower inventory levels.